Did you know that the Citizenship Amendment Act in India has triggered widespread protests and debates all over the country, impacting millions of lives in unprecedented ways? The magnitude of its influence might surprise you. This isn't just a simple law, it's a profound labyrinth of political, social, and legal intricacies. And most crucially, it is a law that's shaping the lives of countless individuals. What is it truly about? How does it function? The suspense unfolds as we delve deep into shedding light on this contentious law, dissecting its components and implications. Brace yourselves as we unravel this complex enigma together. The Citizenship Amendment Act, or CAA, sounds complex, but at its core, it's a law about belonging. It's about defining who has the right to claim India as their home and who does not. But let's break it down to understand it better. The CAA, passed by the Indian Parliament in late 2019, is a piece of legislation that amends the Citizenship Act of 1955. It introduces a key change. It makes it easier for certain groups of immigrants to gain Indian citizenship. So who are these certain groups? The Act specifically lists 6 religious communities from 3 neighboring countries. These are Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis, and Christians from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. The CAA states that if individuals from these communities entered India on or before the 31st of December 2014, they could apply for Indian citizenship, even if they did not have valid documents. They would need to have lived in India or been in government service for a total of at least 6 years. So why does the Act focus on these groups? The Indian government argues that these communities are facing religious persecution in their home countries. The CAA is seen as a path to provide them refuge and a chance to rebuild their lives. However, it's important to note that the Act has sparked controversy and debate. Critics argue that it discriminates on the basis of religion by not including Muslims and challenges the secular fabric of India. Supporters, on the other hand, believe it is a humanitarian act that provides shelter to persecuted minorities. So you see, the Citizenship Amendment Act is not just a piece of legislation. It's a statement about who belongs and who doesn't. It's a law that has the power to shape the destiny of millions of individuals who have sought refuge on Indian soil. So the CAA is essentially about deciding who can officially call India home. Opening. The CAA isn't a one-size-fits-all law. It has specific components that target certain groups. The Citizenship Amendment Act, or CEA, centers on non-Muslim immigrants from 3 countries in particular: Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. But why these countries, you may ask? The common thread is that these are nations where Islam is the state religion, and the Act is designed to provide refuge to religious minorities who may face persecution there. Let's break it down further. The CAA applies to 6 religious minorities from these countries: Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis, and Christians. It's important to note that the Act doesn't apply to all immigrants from these countries, but specifically to those who entered India before December 31st, 2014. Now, what does the Act offer these individuals? The key benefit is a significantly reduced waiting period for obtaining Indian citizenship. Before the CAA, a person had to reside in India or work for the Indian government for at least 11 years before they could apply for citizenship. But under the CAA, this period is reduced to just 5 years. It's worth mentioning that the CAA is not an open-door policy. There are still checks and balances in place. For example, the Act doesn't apply to those who have been expelled or have returned to their country of origin. Also, it doesn't apply to regions in the northeast of India protected by the 6th schedule of the Constitution and areas falling under the Inner Line Permit. To sum up, the CAA is a targeted law. It aims to provide a safe haven and an expedited path to citizenship for certain religious minorities from 3 specific countries. It's not a blanket policy, but a focused response to what the Indian government sees as a humanitarian issue. Closing. As you can see, the CAA is quite specific in its scope and application. Laws don't exist in a vacuum. They have real-world consequences. So what does the CAA mean for people on the ground? The Citizenship Amendment Act, or the CAA, has a direct impact on the lives of many individuals. For some, it offers a glimmer of hope. The Act seeks to expedite the process of granting Indian citizenship to persecuted religious minorities from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. This includes Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis, and Christians who have sought refuge in India before December 31, 2014. For these groups, the CAA could provide a final stop in an often long, arduous journey to security, a chance to finally lay down roots, and a place to call home. It's an opportunity to partake fully in the social, economic, and political life of India, offering a sense of belonging and acceptance. But the CAA isn't without its controversies. The Act excludes Muslims, a decision that has been met with widespread criticism. Critics argue that it undermines the secular principles of India's constitution by linking citizenship with religion. There are concerns that it could potentially create statelessness for some of India's Muslim population, particularly those who can't provide documentation to prove their lineage. This fear of statelessness isn't unfounded. The United Nations defines a stateless person as someone who isn't considered a national by any state under its laws. Statelessness can lead to a lack of access to basic rights and services, including education, healthcare, employment, and freedom of movement. It's a life in limbo, without the protection and benefits that come with belonging to a nation. The CAA also raises questions about India's obligations under international law. The principle of non-discrimination is a cornerstone of human rights law. This principle, many argue, is compromised by the CAA's exclusion of certain groups. The CAA has sparked both hope and controversy, reflecting the complexity of citizenship issues in India. As we delve further into the implications, the Act continues to fuel impassioned debates about what it means to belong, who gets to decide, and at what cost. We've traversed through the intricate landscape of the Citizenship Amendment Act. We've peeled back the layers, and now we stand equipped with a clearer understanding of this piece of legislation and its potential impact. We started with an overview of the Act, introducing it as a law that seeks to amend the definition of illegal immigrants for Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain, Parsi, and Christian immigrants from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan who have lived in India without documentation. We then broke down the Act, delving into its specifics and exploring the criteria it sets for eligibility. We also examined the implications of the CAA. We discussed how it has sparked debates about secularism, discrimination, and the very essence of Indian citizenship. We looked at the arguments from multiple perspectives, understanding that the Act has created ripples of concern, but also hope, across different communities. But remember, this is not the end of our journey. The CAA is one piece of a larger puzzle. It's a part of the ongoing conversation about citizenship, identity, and belonging in India. It's a narrative that is continuing to unfold, and it's important for us to stay informed, engaged, and attentive. Understanding the CAA is a step towards understanding the complexities of citizenship and identity in India. It's a complex issue, but with knowledge,